The votes are in, and I have decided to film first the glute isolation video. So I will be showing you all how to isolate your upper glutes, lower glutes, and glutes as a whole. Show you 3 different exercises at least for each of those 3 separate parts of your glutes, and we'll get glute growing. For this exercise, I like to use a Smith machine for more stability and to go heavier on my reps. You could also use a barbell or easy bar if you choose. Ensure that your knees are apart and your feet are together to target your upper glutes. Slowly sit down into that squat and pop back up with a good 2 to 3 second glute squeeze for good activation. For cable squats, I like to use a rope extension, but you could also use a small straight bar or get creative on your own. Keep your feet shoulder width apart with your toes slightly pointed outward. Sit down into the squat, keeping your weight in your heels and a neutral spine. When you come up, ensure that 1 to 2 second good glute squeeze for activation and burn. Kickbacks with a hold are a great way to get a bomb glute pump. To target those upper glutes, you want to incorporate that hold at the top. Ensure that you don't stand up completely straight or bend over too far. You want to keep the spine neutral. Kick back and hold for 2 to 3 seconds before releasing. If it's too hard, try bending your knee before kicking back. Hiccups are definitely an exercise that are a little bit more difficult to master, but once you have it down, it's a breeze. Start by laying underneath the bar, with the bar just slightly over where your hips or waistline would lie. Point your feet outward and make sure the bar stays in the arch of your foot to maintain good positioning and so that it doesn't slip. Slowly lower into what would seem to be like a leg press movement and hold for a second before popping back up. You should feel that immediate activation and where the under booty is, where your hamstrings meet your glutes. This is probably one of my favorite exercises to target those lower glutes. Start by positioning your feet wider than shoulder width with your toes pointed outwards. When you come down, keep that rope cable between your legs straight, and have a slight bend before popping back up into a good glute squeeze. You will really feel the activation. I chose to do these with a 3 count negative and a 2 count hold. That means that when performing the deadlift, I will count for 3 seconds on the way down, pop back up, and have a good 2 second glute squeeze. With straight leg deadlifts, you still want to have a slight bend in the knee and ensure that you sit back into your heels to keep a neutral spine. Dumbbell glute bridges are great for intermediate all the way to advanced lifters. Start by laying on a mat and putting your feet about shoulder width apart. Place the dumbbell on your hips like I have in the video. You will push up from your heels into a high glute bridge, squeezing your glutes for 2 to 3 seconds before returning to the down position. Lying side leg lifts can be performed by also using a dumbbell or a cable, but I'll show you guys that later. I chose to use just a standard weight for this. Position yourself on a mat like I am, propped up on one elbow. Put the weight on your hip, and as you kick up, that will be the resistance you need. Make sure that underneath leg is bent to create that stable platform for you.
I know you like me in red, so I wear it when I'm in your bed.
Duck walks start by simply sitting down into a standard squat and taking steps backwards, alternating feet. Smaller steps are easier to maintain, but I will warn you, this exercise is not easy by any means. I was definitely struggling.
Give me my rhythm, 'cause you stuck at me dancing.